besides making music, how would you recommend promoting independently? Yeah, that's the thing too, you know. Uh, Getting started as an independent artist, I mean, I could fucking tell you all about it. I was exactly fucking that. You know, I wasn't scooped up by Tiesto and piggybacked onto the stage of Ultra, and all of a sudden I'm a fucking superstar. You know what I mean? Like you gotta do some work. Shit, you know, like I say this to a lot of guys. Maybe I might have said it in some previous streams or something like that, and I know I might have said it in person. You know, a conversation that didn't fucking suck that I actually could stick around with and give someone some beneficial advice. But you know, as an independent artist, and by independent artist I just mean, you know, like a guy that fucking makes music that isn't signed to a major and fuck, you know, nobody knows you from their ass in a hole in the ground. Um, the kind of key thing you got to realize, especially with the fucking, you know, in this age now, I started out kind of at a time when, you know, the internet was just kind of coming out, you know, coming into age in terms of not like, oh, the internet. I mean, Netscape's always been around, but like, the internet is such a fucking vestibule for, you know, promotion and Twitter and social networks and stuff like that. Like, I probably started making music just before the MySpace boom, so there really wasn't anything like that. Like, there was mp3.com, which lasted like, you know, a year or two or whatever and stuff like that, but there were no huge, you know, there wasn't a lot of media coverage on that kind of thing. So I never had to do that, and I think that worked out in my favor, because when you're starting out, you know, you have to realize that, you know, you want to make people, you want to make music for, you know, people, you know, not for the fucking internet, not for blogs, not for all this other shit. So I think that if I had to do this again in today's climate, at least, you know, with all this shit, I would really focus on being very offline. I know it sounds fucking crazy, but there comes a point where you do get online in terms of like, I've got this fan page and I've got this Facebook that's got all these followers and shit like that. But I mean, don't take your music, you know, and go to a fucking nightclub, meet a DJ, you know, go to a radio station. Like, it's still old school as fuck, and I probably get the sound old school as fuck, but honestly, connections made in person are a million billion times more valuable than a fucking spammed link, you know, or an email or a demo or a link, you know. So you really need to like do a lot of fucking groundwork. And I'll tell you, actually, you know what? That's how I kind of found out about Sonny. Now I didn't invent fucking Skrillex. Skrillex invented fucking Skrillex. There's no doubt about that. And I mean, his sound from, you know, Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites was the same before we even fucking put that album out, you know. So that was kind of one captivating thing. But Sonny came to, you know, he was in person. He came to an event like me and Tommy, just Tommy Lee, crashed some random fucking hard party out in LA. I don't think we performed. I think he asked us to perform and I couldn't. But we were just in that neighborhood and we're like, fuck it, let's go to this party. I know Gary, no. And then we were all sitting backstage, and then Tommy said, oh, hey, you got to meet this kid, Sonny. He makes some music and whatever. And then Sonny came in and he delivered me actually the fucking Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites on a fucking USB key, you know. And I was like, oh, cool, you know. And now I'm more likely to take that fucking piece of hardware and make that, you know, physical connection. Well, he seems like a normal fucking kid, a little fucking wacky, and yeah, and he kind of has his head around the music thing because he's done it with his previous endeavors with From First to Last kind of thing. But that was a personal connection. And, you know, and then I took that back and milled over it for a while, you know, and now fucking Skrillex, right? Like, took him on tour for a while and, you know, introed him out, shared what I thought was cool at the time, and then all of a sudden the kid's fucking running laps around me, and I'm like, all right, off you go, back to Big Beat.
Y'all know I take suggestions for videos all the time. This suggestion actually came in-house, came from one of our video interns. He's doing an outstanding job. His name's Alex. He's really into EDM. And he was like, Dorian, you should watch this clip, listen to the first half of what Deadmau5, Dead M-A-U, ain't A-U some shit in the periodic table? Ain't that like silver or some shit, gold? Dead, whatever the fuck his name is. Deadmau5, He said, you should watch this and see what he's talking about with the independent artist show. I was like, okay, cool. So I watched it, and I couldn't disagree more. I'm gonna tell y'all why after the intro. My ducks, my swans, welcome to the pond. My name is Dorian from Group82Music.com, and right here we got Deadmau5 talking about why artists should focus on not being on the internet. Now, for those y'all don't know who Deadmau5 is, he's an EDM producer. He's one of the biggest in the world. In this clip, you hear him talk about how he basically helped put Skrillex on, who's another massive EDM producer. He's been around for a while. He's about to be 40 years old, but his debut album came out in 2005. And you hear him talk about he came to the scene right before the MySpace era. And I remember that era, 2005, I was in college, and he's right. And it was very different, right? People were starting to bubble and pop up on the internet, but YouTube got founded in 2005. And so people still weren't really doing anything with the internet music like that. You still had to do in-person connections. You still had to go to the DJs. You still had to do shows. You still had to go to the radio stations. All the things he's saying, you had to do that. And because you did those things, it was better than if you just sent somebody an email or gave them a demo, like he said, because they actually knew who you were. And like he said about Skrillex, because Skrillex came up to him and gave him a USB, he was able to read the energy of Skrillex right there. Like, okay, this might be somebody I can rock with. Social media has changed all of that shit. No longer do I have to look and see if there's somebody I can rock with and if I can do business with. When you come up to me, that's cool. Or if I come up to you, that's great. But where are they gonna go? They're immediately gonna type your name into Google. They're immediately gonna go to your Instagram. They're immediately gonna go to your YouTube. They're immediately gonna go to your Spotify, because if you are as dope as you say you are, you should have somewhat of a fan base. You should have a certain number of streams. I don't know what it is for each person, but we should see that. I should be able to go to your Instagram and the bio is optimized for sales, like how mine is at Dorian Group 82. You should be able to scroll on your Instagram feed and see what the theme is. Is it education? Is it entertainment? Is it erotica? Or are you just an artist who's constantly making music? Or are you a person who's really into fitness? Like, what is it? I should be able to see that. I should see your logo. I should see your font. I should see your colors. I should see your tagline. You should be able to go onto someone's Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is, and be able to see if they know and understand business, because this is a business. And in 2005, when Deadmau5 was coming in, it was hard to see if somebody really understood the business. When they were coming up to you, you were really relying on talent. That's why when y'all be bringing up these stories about past rappers like a Master P, or when you talk about how Big Sean got on, or how Cole got on, or how Drake got on, or how Kendrick got on, it was about talent back then. It was so much about talent and intuition, and then hope that the record label could take my intuitive feeling about finding a J. Cole, if I'm Jay-Z, and we're gonna give him all the marketing that we gave everybody else and see if he's successful, which J. Cole was, which Kanye West was. But there are a lot of people that were signed to Rockefeller that ain't successful. They got the exact same looks as Kanye and J. Cole. And this is a business. The last thing a record label wants to do is invest money into something and it doesn't get a return. So we gotta find the safest bets. So now with social media, you can see what's a safer bet, right? They got 100,000 followers on Instagram that are real, they're engaging with them. That's a safer bet. They're posting content every day on YouTube. It's making X amount of money. That's a safer bet. They're getting millions of streams on Spotify. That's a safer bet, as opposed to just walking up to somebody. There is still value in that. I'm not taking that away. The reason that my music video, Sunshine, was shown in every Journey shoe store in North America, over 1,300 of them, is because of a connection that I made at South by Southwest in 2017, I think, at the JW Marriott in Austin at the bar. The dude who was in charge of music at Journeys was sitting there. I was sitting there. We had a conversation, sitting in the video. Next thing you know, it's in every store in North America. I was fortunate for that. That personal connection got me there. But what do you think has done more for my career? Posting on Instagram every day, posting on YouTube every day, engaging with the ducks and swans in the pond every day, or waiting for somebody else to I can't say the fucking word. Waiting on somebody else who just happens to come into my life to get me placed in 2K, to get me placed on the intro to ESPN, to push my song on the radio, to put me at the top of Rap Caviar. I'm not waiting on shit. What Deadmau5 is suggesting is you are relying on other people. And if you want to do that, by all means, you can be successful as fuck. That can happen. I ain't want to do that. I ain't like that. And when you rely on other people to give you your career, they're going to take ownership. They're going to take equity. They're going to take your masters. I don't know his back end. I don't know Skrillex's back end. I don't know. But in what I do know about rap, anybody else who was dependent on somebody else to push their career, even pop and R&B too, they took equity stake. They took ownership. I want to maintain ownership. I want to maintain equity stake. I'm going to do shit myself, so that way I ain't got to rely on somebody else. Because what happens when they change their mind one day? What happens if they ain't fucking with you one day? What happens if they don't like your music anymore? What happens? You're fucked. But when you do it yourself, you always know how to get your music out there. You always know how to get millions. You always know how to...
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
You always know how to get millions of streams. You always know how to chart, and you always know how to make money. If you're somebody that wants to do this yourself, like I've been doing, you're on Instagram, click the link up top. You're on YouTube, click the link in the box. Click like, click share. That shit's free. Click the links, not the pond. Y'all stay true.
About that. Always focus on my futures while you never see me look back. Late nights, early mornings, all the real ones fear that. Group82music.com.